suggest?
I want to say that I'm happy to work with you on that idea. I think it's great, and I can talk to some certain people to see if I can get some star power down here. And I think we got a gentleman back here that would be great to speak up too.
I can give you the answer to your question. I think that my name is Jenkins.
And tell us what you used to do.
I was a law enforcement officer for 10 years. I started Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. We moved down here to Mississippi. My wife was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We met at a Mexican restaurant with a Irish name, or Harris Cantina. Got married to Vegas, moved back to Memphis, Tennessee, where I was born, and I lived and I was raised in Mississippi until I was a teenager. Moved to California, Los Angeles. Very conservative Christian family, very fundamentalist conservative Christian
Same here.
family. I am very much, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I'm very much of a, what we would call, because I took political science in college also, at Cal State AV. I'm a classic liberal, which what you would call today a conservative or a moderate conservative. I'm very libertarian. This is an issue that can actually bring political parties together. I'm going to disagree with you on things, you're going to disagree with me on things, but I can tell you that ex-law enforcement officer is a Christian and a libertarian, lean more conservative, moderate conservative, that there is a trust issue with this right now. I talk to a lot of people in my neighborhood. I live in Olive Branch. The neighborhood I live in is lily white and all conservative and pretty much Christian. And when you knock on the door and you talk to people, they'll tell you straight up, I'm for legalizing medical marijuana. I'm just not for legalizing recreational marijuana. A lot of them aren't quite there yet. When we were growing up in high school, our youth pastors told us marijuana was this evil demon weed and that we should never touch it. DARE came to our junior high school, our elementary school, came to our high school and said, this stuff is bad, don't touch it. So we grew up thinking, this stuff is bad, don't touch it. Also, as teenagers, we would sneak it and smoke it because we thought we were doing something really bad and we wanted to live on the edge. We thought smoking marijuana was really rebellious, And so, we did that. And, it's going to take people like me to join hands and come across the aisle with people like you. I don't know what your political parties are. I can tell you, like I said before, I used to be Republican, now I'm more libertarian, and this is one of the issues why I'm libertarian. But it's going to take reaching across the aisle. It's going to take Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Conservatives, Christians, non-believers. It's going to take all that to get this initiative passed in Mississippi. Because Mississippi's mentality is literally, and I hate to say this, it shames me to say that Mississippi leads in everything negative. We're #1 in poverty. We're #1 in education. When it comes to welfare, the thing that saddens me is this is the most supposedly conservative state in the Union and the most Christian state in the Union, but we're the most corrupt state in the Union also. And it's a fact, and it shames me to say that. How can that be? Well, this is one of the reasons why. If you look at Mississippi's prison population, as of January 2015, it was 18,885. How many people were in jail for marijuana?
How many?
10,835.
Oh.
More than half of our prison population is because of marijuana possession, sales, or growth. That, my friend, and as a Christian, I have to say this. I appreciate that sign. As a Christian, I'm completely and totally opposed to any prisons or any jails because it's not something you see biblically that God gave us covenant people. I'm not going to preach to you guys. I'm just telling you from a biblical perspective. Prisons never existed. Jails were temporary until you were sentenced, and it was restitution was I give you money or I get out of town. It was never let's lock somebody up in the human zoo and teach them how to be even more of a criminal. So Mississippians, especially conservative people in the camp I'm from, Christians, are just scared. They're worried about what the next guy's thinking. They're worried about what the next door neighbor's thinking. But I got the shock of my life last week when I was in a grocery store in up in South Haven, and a pastor of a very large Baptist church. Now, Baptist, I don't know if you know about Southern Baptist, you're talking about conservative and uptight. I even got a problem with Baptist, and I'm a Christian. This Baptist pastor of a huge, well-known Baptist church, and I won't mention his name, we were talking this morning. He goes, oh, I'm for marijuana. I don't care about that. I'm for legalizing it. And I was like, brother, you need to talk.
Yeah.
You need to speak. And he goes, no, I can't. His congregation could probably fire him and get rid of him, the older generation. It's going to take, I'm sorry for talking so long. I don't really speak. I love it.
Please.
We have another hour.
It's going to take people who have been convinced that this is an evil. It's going to take people who have been convinced it's evil. It's not. I told one of my friends today, the word perspective, very big word, a lot bigger than you think it is. Perspective, when our perspective is what shapes and molds what our worldview is. Instead of seeing marijuana in the negative sense, because there's a balance to life and everything, there's negative things about marijuana. There's negative things about sleep. There's negative things about food. There's negative things about sex. Sorry to mention that. There is. There just is. Everything that's created, there's a balance in life. There's good and there's evil to it. People are concentrating on what's wrong with people, not marijuana. Marijuana is an inanimate object. And instead of concentrating on the heart and the mind of a person and their wicked intentions, we turn around and we say, boom, this is evil. You guys know who Andrew Clark Sr. is?
Yes.
Talk shows. I called him one time because he was making me really mad. He kept calling marijuana demon weed.
I've debated him on Fox 13 a few times.
Yeah, I said, brother, stop calling this demon weed, man. It's not a demon weed. There's 500 uses for this plant that's absolutely miraculous and amazing. Now, I'm telling you, my wife, who's 6 years older than me, I nicknamed her Bob Marley because this woman probably smoked more dope than him growing up through high school. And I smoked a lot of marijuana myself. My name is Jenkins. I don't mind telling people that. I smoked a whole lot of dope myself, and I hate calling it dope, I'm sorry, marijuana myself growing up. And you know the worst thing that happened was? I got hungry, I laughed a whole lot, watched Saturday Night Live, laughed my butt off till I fell asleep, and got a great night's sleep and felt better the next day. I really did. And so, I'm going to skip way forward to 6 years ago. I'm 46 years old. Up until I was 40 years old, I ran 5 miles a day. I lifted weights, I was in the best shape of my life. And all of a sudden my back went out on me, and I developed arthritis in my lower back. Well, I was on Percocet, I was on Loratab, I was drinking lots of alcohol. It was tearing my stomach up. The doctor said your stomach's swollen, I had an upper GI, because I'm like, man, I got stomach problems now. I said, well, all these physical problems. And so I started looking into the side effects of what these drugs do. Man, they kill you. Heart attack, stroke. And so then the light came on, and I said, wait a minute, my body's not synthetic. So if my body's not synthetic, why am I putting synthetic drugs in my body? My brother-in-law came over, and he still smokes cannabis, and he goes, hey, dude, you smoke this stuff, man, you'll feel better, I promise you. I'm like, no, man, I've done that in 25 years, bro, it's illegal. He goes, would you rather be illegally alive or illegally dead? And I said, illegally alive makes a lot of sense. Give me some. So he gave me a pipe, and I smoked it. I got really, 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 really high. I don't know what he gave me, but it wasn't the weed that I smoked when I was a kid. I said, dude, what was that you gave me? He goes, that was some good stuff. I said, obviously, because I got up the next morning, and without sounding gross, I think I peed for probably 10 minutes. And my swelling came completely and totally off my back. And we know pain is a result of inflammation, swelling. I felt good for 3 days. I went from my wife having to wash me from the waist down and dry me off and put my underwear on me to being able to pick up 50-pound bags of cow manure and potting soil for my wife's garden after smoking it. I'm not joking. So I said, well, let me go research marijuana and see what this stuff is about, dude, because, you know, I'm a Christian and I'm an ex-police officer. This stuff is bad. You know, this stuff is really bad. And when I did my research, I found out, no, this stuff's actually really good. There were no side effects. I found out you couldn't overdose on it. Man, I found out all kinds of great things about marijuana. That it cures cancer, ulcerative colitis. I mean, you name it, man. It cures almost everything. And then I found out after research that as of 1937, when they went before Congress, because nylon was this big new thing that came out, cotton wood industry, they made it a racist issue. It makes blacks and Mexican men want to rape white women. And I was like, oh man, that's not true, because me and my buddy smoked a lot of weed. We didn't want to rape nobody. That's just ridiculous. I got high with black guys and Mexican guys and Asian guys out in Los Angeles, where it's a real true melting pot. And those things never occurred. And then my wife started getting on board. I go, if she gets on board, you know, so I literally did hundreds and hundreds of hours of research on this drug. And I thought, you know, it is a drug. It is. THC is a drug. But I thought, well, this thing is this is a miracle. I don't even refer to it as cannabis marijuana. I call it the miracle plant. And because I still have arthritis in my back and my back's fusing itself, I really want this drug, because I don't want the drugs they gave me that are going to give me a heart attack or stroke. I want cannabis to be legalized so I can feel better.
And you saw past the propaganda.
You know, it's all propaganda. I was told growing up this stuff is evil, but here's when I was a police officer, I can tell you as a former law enforcement officer, I went on thousands of domestic disturbance calls where a husband would beat up his wife, or a woman would stab his wife. Trust me, I went to a lot of stabbing calls, shooting calls. Every last single call I went to was a result of some kind of pharmaceutical drug, synthetic drug the industry gave, was prescribed, legally prescribed to somebody, or alcohol abuse was the main factor in every disturbance call I went to, whether it was aggravated assault or it was a misdemeanor, domestic violence assault. Every last thing, most of it was dude was drunk or the woman was drunk. Every car accident, most fatalities that I worked with, either somebody fell asleep at the wheel, somebody was talking on their phone, or they were drunk. Malcolm, I never worked a fatality where somebody after the blood came back from autopsy, where anybody was ever had marijuana in their system. Now it probably happens, but that's probably because there's a combination of somebody who's smoking, getting high, and drinking alcohol. But like we say in law enforcement, you know, drunk people run stop signs, people high on marijuana, they stay at the stop sign until it turns green. And we know stop signs never turn green, so basically they fall asleep at the stop sign. I can tell you myself personally as a human being, I've been drunk many, many times. And my wife and my children can tell you, when I first got hurt, that's how I killed my pain. I was probably one of the meanest drunks you ever want to meet. I never hit my...
You're a big guy, I don't want to have an angry version of you around.
My wife and kids would clear out. I would rant and rave when I was angry because I would fall asleep, pass out, fall asleep, wake up, groggy, mad, irritated, angry. I'd scream and I'd yell. And my wife goes, "That's enough. You're not taking that anymore. Now you're going to the doctor." Long story short, no end right here because I'm hurting really bad and I'm going to go. I'm going to give you my phone. My phone number is right here.
We need people like you.
Law enforcement officers have this thing, and you understand, brother, as an attorney. I used to hate attorneys when I was a cop. No offense, but I hate them. Most people do, but they hate cops worse than attorneys. But there's this little thing called officer's discretion. There are other laws that the city, there's ordinances and there's state laws and there's federal laws, and we have to enforce. We raise our right hand and we take the oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state we're in, and then we enforce state local laws. Many times when I was a police officer, if you had marijuana, it's discretion. I'd let it go, depending on how much you had. And at the point where I became a field training officer at FTO, young guys at the police academy would say, "Man, you let that guy go with the joint?" I'm like, come on, man, it's nothing. Why are we going to lock this guy up? Well, it hit me right before I stopped being a police officer. I quit after 10 years because I just didn't like the laws that I was having to enforce. You're right on that. But a lot of officers do have discretion, but there's things that we don't have discretion on. And one of those things we don't have discretion on is marijuana. Because I'm here to tell you right now, there are a whole lot of police that smoke marijuana off, dude. If they gave drug tests right now to law enforcement agencies, you would lose 3/4 of your law enforcement agency.
And we'd lose good officers.
You would too. Like my Major Davis, the police department used to say, "They legalized marijuana in Mississippi. Y'all don't come near my house and get a contact high." And he smoked it all the time. I'm not going to say his first name. He's not a cop anymore, police officer anymore either. But I thought I'd speak out, and I know I went probably too long and said too much, but
But don't the police officers, aren't they kind of treating their PTSD that they must get from all the stress of their job with the cannabis?
I don't know.
Better?
Possibility.
Isn't it better for our community that they treat it that way than with alcohol? Aren't they trained dangerous people?
Well, trained dangerous people, what do you mean?
Well, I consider police officers trained to use a gun and dangerous because they are able to know how to fight.
Train tough people.
Okay, well, I'll explain it to you. I told my mom last week, me and my mom were discussing this, and I said, "Mommy, you know, in today's the police officers, and you'll admit this, brother, they need to reorganize law enforcement academies and retrain officers. Because 99% of what and I hate to say it's true, 99% of what a law enforcement officer is taught in today's police academy, and I graduated back in '94, 90% of that is how to assault a citizen. And it's not that police officers are wanting to go out and purposely, because there's some great cops out there, but we're taught how to assault you in order to preserve our lives, and we're told to preserve others. I remember a long day of PT at the police academy on my face, doing more push-ups than humanly possible, and the instructor screaming, "Well, I'm trying to teach you how to be killing machines." And one guy looked at me and goes, "We're police officers, we're not killing machines, it's not the military." It kind of clicked to me, man. Yeah, 99% of what I've learned was every nerve. I know every nerve in your body. I can strike it, manipulate it.
Please don't.
I'm taught. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm taught how to put up. It's called pain compliance, PPCT, person point control tactics. It's called pain compliance. Police officers taught where to hit you, how to kill you, where to shoot you, everything. We're taught all of that. And I remember as a 24-year-old getting out on the street going, having all this new stuff going. I can't wait to get somebody. I'm going to use all this stuff I learned. And then I grew up. But long story short, I think that there needs to be more, and people may disagree with this, there can be compassionate policing. There can be that. Police officers today really, I mean, I have respect for them too. They're not taught to be compassionate. I'm telling you this right now. They're not taught to be your friend. They're not taught to be your buddy. And 9 times out of 10, if a cop, if you come in contact with him, do what he says. I don't care how stupid he is. Do what he says. Because this police officer's mind has been trained to ignore your pleas. He's not trained to be compassionate. They're really not. They're trained to do a couple of things. Make you comply with them by any means necessary. If that means putting as much pain on you as they can possible to do it, they'll do that. But their job is not to be your buddy or your friend. Their job is to take you to jail. And that's how they're trained. Sorry, long story short, I'm pro-marijuana. I'm very pro-cannabis. I hate calling it marijuana because marijuana is not the true original name for it. That's a name for a Mexican tobacco. I'm very pro-marijuana. Any way possible I can help. If I can ever come speak for you, talk to other police officers. I want to get some petitions before I leave. I'm going to be talking to pastors, and I'm going to be talking to the fundamentalists, the great fundamentalist Christians, to everything. And I'm going to do my best because I want the medicine here. I want the poorest state in the union. I mean, marijuana can take us out of debt. This stuff makes the highest octane fuel, the strongest concrete. I mean, you could build a house. Do you see the plastics? They built a car already out of marijuana. The very first car to come up with assembly line, marijuana and gasoline. It makes 4 acres of marijuana can produce 300 gallons of gasoline. That's every 5 months you can replant marijuana. I mean, think about no more oil spills out in the middle of the ocean killing our animals. We could just grow gasoline in our backyard or on 100 acres of field. I mean, think of the possibilities are endless with this plant. And so that's why I got involved and I called this young lady right here and said, hey, I talked her head off last week. She's like, Lily, slow down. And as you can tell, I'm excited about it. My mother thinks I'm nuts. She's like, shh, man, you can't talk about that. I'm like, hey, Mom, I got to shout from the rooftops because if people like me stay scared, Mississippi will never get out of the. Our mentality is still 100, 200 years in the past. If Mississippi doesn't escape this mentality and start seeing marijuana not for what it's been labeled to be, but for what it could be, and it could be one of those drugs that save people's lives, completely, totally fix and heal our economy, and just make us more independent, make people more independent. I mean, people get mad at the healthcare system. It's going to cost trillions of dollars. Well, guess what? Legalize cannabis, and our federal government won't have to spend trillions of dollars. I have the cure to almost everything in my backyard. I probably wouldn't need a hospital if I could grow that legally in my backyard. I mean, honestly, right? You guys agree?
Yes.
I wouldn't need a hospital. The federal government would be loving us. They grow all you can in your backyard, man, because it would relieve all those tax dollars. Because we know nothing's free, right? You can call it free health care, but it's really not. It's going to cost. It's going to cost everybody
for that.
But if you legalize marijuana, what a burden that would be off of our healthcare system, wouldn't it?
Definitely. And I want to say, Lee, I don't have to tell you this, but get his information, please. We want him to speak as soon as possible.
I appreciate that, man. I'll work with
There are good athletes and bad athletes in every group, period. Thank you for being a good athlete.
No problem. My back is killing me, man. I'm going to go get on my heating pad because that's what I've been reduced to. No more synthetic dope. I'm on the heating pad. Ice pack now. I'm not taking synthetic drugs now.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Yes, sir. Soon, please. And just as so many.
It'll help keep your blood sugar down too.
Yes, it does.
I haven't smoked for a year. So every 6 months I gotta get my blood pressure reading. Well, last time I went, they called me and said, you need to watch yourself, your blood sugar's getting up there pretty high.
Yes.
I feel like going back to smoking for a year now and see what my test is.
I tell you what, eat it. I know how to make butter. I know how to pull the oil off the plant. I can do all that, man. I can do it all.
Well, I just want to say one more thing on that. I want to say that just as so many military personnel, especially veterans with PTSD, are afraid to speak out on the issue, even though they know it helps. Officers, and a lot of people don't put this together. Police officers get PTSD bad. They see things every day that you and I don't want to look at.
Listen, my daughter is in the United States Air Force. And my daughter works for the NSA. She's in intelligence. My daughter's in intelligence, national security. And my daughter, already at 20 years old, her job was ISIS. My daughter was following those people. And my daughter knows a lot. And she came home from Georgia a couple of weeks ago. She's completely and totally stressed out. She can't tell me what she does. I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? She goes, Daddy, you don't understand the things I've seen that I know. I'm not in combat, but she goes, I have my eyes on the combat field because she reports to combat people in the field. Drones and all that stuff. I don't want to get her in trouble, but long story short, they took her, now she's in Honolulu, Hawaii. I don't know what she's doing there, but she's a lot less stressed. But even a 20-year-old girl, she's seen so much and knows so much stuff. It's literally stressed her out. And my daughter said, what would you think if I smoked marijuana? I said, well, you can have the military if you want to. Fine, that'd be great. Do it. Relieve all the stress you've got.
Well, thank you for your service. We're gonna be talking.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. I hope to meet with
It's
you.
nice to
Hopefully
meet
have
you.
lunch
I
with
put
you.
a poster there, because you're in all the branch, if there's a business, or if you know more businesses, look, I need to get these posters up to
I'll try.
advertise the event this coming weekend. It's a beer tasting thing, it's not about cannabis.
That's awesome for me.
But we're gonna be, collecting
I like beer.
signatures there, and we need volunteers if you'd like to go.
Is it
Friday,
Canton, Mississippi?
Canton, Mississippi.
Where's that at?
That's, about 3 hours south of here, a little
Near
less than that.
Jackson.
Okay, my sister lives in Clinton, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, anyhow. I appreciate y'all, I appreciate these, and look, I've already got, listen, I've got several Christian conservatives already in line to sign this petition. I do.
You need more than that, or are you good?
I'm good, I'll just make Ron comments.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am, thank you, good to meet you.
Definitely, definitely.
All right, brother.
so we still have questions